Hello, good evening and welcome. So in the second series of conversations with Sergeant Alolga Akata Pore, we'll be exploring more contemporary topics about Ghana's democracy, where we are heading as a country, his thoughts about where we're supposed to be and where we are today, and the best way forward. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
I hope you're doing well.
I'm fine, thank you.
Now, we left off in our previous conversation having to jump a little bit into assessing our democratic journey. From where you sit, has this Fourth Republic lived up to expectation?
To some extent, yes. In one respect, yes. Because there've been elections, they've been, successfully conducted, they've handed over, changes of government have occurred. It's almost like every 8 years you get a new government, and largely, apart from two of them, that the results have been contested, all of them have been listened. So in a way, it's progress. So from that point of view, yes. But I think democracy and government is more than just elections.
Okay.
It's about how you look after the ordinary people. You see, it's not about the people who do well anyway. You see, that's not what government should be about. It should be about looking after the people who without support will not be able to get by. Because you see, most of life is about luck. So if you are not lucky to be born to someone or to have some connections, then you are frozen out of the system. That can be democracy.
But many say, well, we have advanced. We've had free education at the senior high school level. We've had national health insurance scheme. These are social protection programs. And we have LEAP, we have others, LIPW, targeted at making sure that people can have opportunities and also survive in a system like your own.
Yeah.
Is it your contemplation that these are not enough, or we've just not done enough?
Well, okay, you are talking about the vehicles that are there to ameliorate some of the harsh conditions. But you see, if you organize the system well, you probably will not need that anyway.
Okay.
So if you even get to a point where you need that, it is very little, and I don't think it's doing its job. Because otherwise, why will you see so many children at Sheshi selling sachet water? There are graduates, there are people with master's degrees running about selling dog chains and so on. You wouldn't get that if the system is well organized, if they had a say. You see, our money is being spent on things that we don't want our money to be spent on. Okay. We want our money to be spent on education so that children don't sit under trees. We don't want our money to be spent on V8s every 4 years for an MP. We don't want that. You see, so you can't say because the elections have gone on smoothly, like I've said, that equates to progress. If anything, I think that it's a regression. You see.
Have we?
Yeah, I think it's a regression because I don't remember this type of poverty in Achampong's era. I don't remember it in Nkrumah's time. I don't remember it in Buzier's time. I'm being honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, because you see, people had farms to go to. Now, those farms are not even there. You see, because the seeds, for example, with garden eggs, for example, that you could just open dry and plant when you took the rotten ones from the from the basket. Now you can't do that anymore. Everything has to be purchased. We've now become an import economy. Everybody is buying, so everybody is poor because we haven't got the money to import these things and sell at good prices for people to get access to.
This Fourth Republic has only been managed by the MPP and the NDC. Alternatively, they change hands and all of that. Do you think that the politics has headed the right direction?
No, you see, because this duopoly is a problem because they've raised the entry bar as well. Because how can anyone, oh, by the way, in 1982, we did consider forming a party, instead of
oh, interesting.
the coup d'etat. But
okay.
it was the same entry barrier that stopped us, because we were advised by the lawyers. In fact, Chachu's name was mentioned. He didn't tell me directly, but I was told that Chachu had said that his research showed that you needed 2/3 of presence in each of the, 2/3 of presence in 2/3 of the constituencies and districts in the country, and we just didn't have the money. So Rollins said, well, there you go. So it's only one route, because people were arguing about whether the coup was necessary.
Alternatives available instead of having to remove the government. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, okay. Exactly. So it's a similar situation now. So the duopoly has they've raised the bar. You can't get in. Because you see, they've monetized the politics. So now, if you want someone even to register, I'll tell you a story. I went to have my phone repaired, not to have the glass put on the glass protector.
Yeah, the protector.
Yeah. And this young guy, I asked him, he looked 18, 19, he was sitting by. I asked him, have you registered? You should go and register. Then he looked at me for a while, and then he said he hasn't got any money to go and
register for elections.
For election, that he has to
voter
travel.
Registration.
Yeah.
Okay.
The recent one, the one that is going on right now. Yeah, the limited one. So I looked in my pocket at 55 cedis, and I gave it to him. You see, I gave it to him to travel to go and register. So you see, people want when you want them to register. And it's not about him voting for any party, just to get the card. Say, look, you get the card, it will give you power. Then you can decide whether you want to vote or not. So you go and get it in the first place.
Talk of registration. You've heard of the fight between the MPP and the NDC at the various places. Former minister being arrested, some police officers being interdicted because we were watching the brawl and all of that. Is that a sign we are advancing, or it's a sign we are retrogressing in our politics?
You see, it's retrogressing. Because you see, they are basically buying people. Look, how can the EC condone a situation in which parties have to bus people? Basically, you, the EC...
But they are positioning the registration center away from a community.
Yeah.
Some district offices are far from where the people live. How then are they supposed to travel to those places to go and register?
It is the EC who should be doing that.
Busing the people there?
Yes. Ask for the resources. If any party has money to contribute, they should give it to the EC.
Oh, okay, I get your point. Yeah.
Do you get it?
It will be done in an impartial way.
Yes, it's the EC, because how can... I just don't understand it. So it means that the EC is accepting that there are NDC voters and there are MPP voters. How can you, the EC, concede that?
But they say they don't condone it. It's not as if they are giving an approval. But if the person appears and is in a bus, you'll still register the person, right?
No. Yeah, but you see, it's just the... I just can't understand the mindset of the EC. Everybody's vote is an individual vote. Nobody belongs to any... no vote belongs to any particular party. It belongs to the individual. Why are you encouraging a situation in which people have to sell their votes for the parties at registration? Okay,
ahead of time.
Ahead of time.
As if they are pledging the vote to a person.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like you are enslaving people to the political parties. Why is that? So why can't the EC go to Parliament and make a case for funds? Ask them for 100 buses. Say, look, if you don't give me 100 buses, I can't do the registration. And that, if you want it to be fair.
No, I get your point.
It's frustrating.
Is it not a larger symptom of the monocracy in our politics?
Well, but then the EC and is it NCCE or
NCC? Yeah, the education group.
Yeah, they should be coming together and making sure that this thing does not happen.
I see.
Because what is happening is it's being entrenched, and that is what is going to lead us into, if you like, a kind of civil war.
This voter scuffle.
Yeah, because look, A buses his people. B says, they are from Waga. Yeah? B buses his people. Say, they are from Lome. And so on and so forth. One day, there's going to be something somewhere. Already we lost 8 people, didn't we?
Yes, in the last election.
Yes. Look, you see, what the EC should do is have a risk analysis workshop where they call all the stakeholders, you see, and then they run these type of things as projects, proper projects, you see, and then all the risk analysis, the threats, the vulnerabilities and so on are identified, and all the stakeholders agree as to how to handle the things, including this voter registration. You see, because what it means is that if there's a certain area that belongs to a political party and the party hasn't got the money to bus its people, then people get disenfranchised.
No, I get your point.
Do you get it?
I get you 100%.
And it's so sad. So now people have to put their money in their pockets and go and give to these people to go and vote. They bought them right from day one. So they now no more policy.
But there's no guarantee that if you give me money to register, I would necessarily vote for you. Is there a guarantee?
Well, if they were educated enough,
so
that they, then they will not be taking money in the first place. They will not be allowing anybody to bus them. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get you.
But it's because of the lack of education and the economic situation that makes people yield to these indignities. It's indignity, you see.
Affecting the core of your democracy.
Yes.
The other issue that affects the core of our democracy, of course, you mentioned money, is monocracy. How do we deal with such a phenomenon?
Okay. You see, under the union government I was talking about, and I'm not advocating for union government.
I see.
Yeah. But you see, all the campaigns will be funded by the government. Yeah, and in a socialist regime, that is what will happen. It will be funded by the government. When it's funded by the government, if everybody is entitled to 2 posters, we are entitled to 2 posters. 2 minutes on the radio, everybody gets 2 minutes on the radio. No competition over somebody flying with a helicopter, someone using you know, all kinds of means and so on. No.
So political parties will be funded?
Yes. Look, if we want a democracy, it's not cheap. It's expensive. And besides, it's costing us anyway. It's over costing us. The cost of what we are having is more than how it will cost us if we were fair and were...
We created a level playing field for everybody.
Yes, because you see, look, I can argue that the 2 parties are funded by the government.
Really?
Yeah, because when they are in power, they don't make a distinction between their party and the government.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they capture the state. Yeah, and they... Look, they will fund projects in the constituencies that voted for them. Yeah, because they are in power. That's what happens. So it means the party is funding them, and they make a lot of money anyway through, don't ask me for evidence, but through contracts and other things. Their cronies make the money and build war chests for them for their elections. And when they are in opposition, if they get funded, it's because there is a hope that when they come into power, they will take policies which in the end will benefit them. So you see, it means that if you ever get into power, you get funded by the state. Not that it is official, but that is what happens.
It's almost like we have agreed to it indirectly.
Yes.
Do you have an option of a third party, third force?
Well, it is highly unlikely.
Really?
Yeah.
Even with Chairman Tim, who was with the MPP,
who
really is now bringing together third forces, the likes of Dr. Abu Sakara Foster, other third parties and groups, independent, who believe that there's a time for a third force. You don't think that's going to work out? No,
what he's saying in terms of the time for a third force is long overdue. You see? But you see, it is too rich coming from him. Because if he had won the primary shape, he wouldn't be saying this.
That's interesting.
do you get it? So for me, I don't listen to him.
All right.
I'm being honest with you. I don't listen to him. And if anybody joins him, the person should know that I don't listen to them, because it doesn't make sense that someone who wanted to entrench the two-party state, because he did not win, it's a bit like Rawlings forming his own party when he didn't win. His wife didn't win the primaries against. May God.
I think that's the wife that formed the party, not Rawlings. Yeah.
Well, you know, is there a difference?
Oh, but no, but it was an Akufo-Addo.
It's a Rawlings.
Yes,
it was a Rawlings.
But
fine.
It's
Okay, I said Rawlings, right?
Oh yeah.
I said Rawlings.
Basically, the same sort of people.
Yeah, Rawlings.
We're talking about Rawlings, and you have mentioned all of the other things, but more recently, what do you think about the Akufo-Addo government?
Well, I don't.
Were you hopeful when he took off office in 2017?
To be honest with you, they had catchy slogans.
Yeah.
Okay.
One district, one factory.
Yeah.
One village, one dam.
Yeah.
1 million per constituency. And a litany of others, yeah.
Yeah. You see, those, if you sit down and you analyze them, they are kind of, they create a sense of entitlement.
Okay.
You see, among the people. So, one district, one dam. It means you have to have a river. That's what it means.
Yeah, one district, one factory. It's one village that had a dam.
One village that had a dam. So it means that you have to have a river.
No, they were going to create the dam for you.
Oh, is that a dam?
It ended up being the case that had to be.
It ended up being the case. But,
yes, yes.
But what I'm saying that at the time, we did not.
The conception was not clarified as such.
Yes, you see. So, and then even so if one person is upstream and one is downstream, and we are both getting dams, that makes sense.
I get your point.
It doesn't. So it doesn't make sense. You come to the one, the money, the 1 million
per constituency.
Per constituency. So a constituency does not have administrative unit, right?
Yeah.
How are you going to give the money? And then the point too is, are you telling me that this money will really go to NDC constituencies?
Oh, yes, they said, I mean, they're part of Ghana. You cannot be arbitrary in your distribution of resources.
That is not the language that we've heard from the president himself. And that is the disappointing thing, you see, because he did say it, and I heard it, to a constituency in the Volta region, about the fact that they didn't vote for him.
Oh, during the Mepe spillage problem.
Yes. Yeah. And I've also seen footage, and I've looked at it. It's not fake.
Okay.
About him talking to Central Region
Chief Presidency.
Yes, and telling them that they didn't vote for him, and for him he had forgotten about them. That he will do something about it. You see, so it means that if even the money will go, it will first go to the constituencies that voted for him. So you see, all these sort of. I'm not against MPP. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm looking at it and saying that, look, it didn't work for me.
Okay.
It didn't work for me. So Nana, for me personally, he's failed the country.
In what specific ways?
Well, look at corruption also. You see, almost from day one, you have this scandal at the Ministry of Trade. Yeah. Then you have the PPA. Then you have Cecilia Dapa, and
but she's not been prosecuted for anything as we speak.
Oh, but
the OSP dropped the ball.
Money
equally dropped
money
the ball.
has no color, but it can smell. You see, clearly there is a problem here. If I were the president, that's not the way I would act. And I don't think Rawlings would have acted that way. Rawlings is his friend. He knows Rawlings would not have acted that way. It's so sad. I don't know why he thinks that it is his duty to defend people just because he has appointed them. Because people you appoint can disappoint. And when they disappoint you, disappoint them too.
Okay.
Why is he overprotective of them? Why? I don't understand him.
No, except that
he's too loyal to his appointees.
Because he appointed them.
Yeah, but if they fail you, because look, their optics very bad. You see, So now, the legacy he's leaving cannot be a positive one. When, at least, look, he makes very good speeches. Look, even in the UK, people, if you say you are from Ghana, at certain times, people will say, oh, we heard your president. Yeah, brilliant speech. I heard him speak in Switzerland, you know, about this gold and this.
That's true.
Brilliant. And Dakar, you know, and I just wish that he had, by the way, it's not too late. He can still act and get some legacy. You see, but for now...
But it's a couple of months to the end. Not a couple of it, but under a year.
Yeah, but
his tenure
yeah,
ended.
but if you... look, how about intervening in this Sisi thing?
But the man said ahead of time he was hopeful that the woman's integrity will be established at the end of the day.
You see, those are the statements which... so it means that he has cleared her already.
He has expressed hope. He's not saying don't investigate or botch investigations or be incompetent
so
in your investigation.
if you, I'm not saying that you should do what Rawlings would have done. Yeah. So he thinks that you are guilty and then he bypasses and no, that's not what I'm asking for.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that in the case of Sisi Dapa, he can say it openly. Special prosecutor, I don't like the delay that you are putting on this thing. And everybody will know that you don't like that. But at the moment, it's like you are happy with what is going on. You see, I just wish him, I want him to do well. Because if he does well, he does it for the country.
Beyond corruption, what's the other charge against President Akufo-Addo?
Well, I also don't like, if you called, when I said, you said they were jokes or something.
Sorry, which person?
When I said this idea that, oh, I will not hand over.
Oh, the most recent talks that he's been engaged in.
that he will not hand over to someone that he has replaced. Look, Trump did not hand over. Trump left the White House before Biden went and took over. So you don't physically hand over the power to anyone. But when you make those statements, they are witty, yeah, because if you read into it, you find it quite witty, what he said there, you see. And he was speaking to a chief. He was telling the chief that, you, this chief, you cannot hand over to the one who handed over to you because he's dead. Okay. Do you get that's
no, I guess. Yeah.
So that is the thing that he thought it was funny, but if it was a joke, but it's not a joke. We are in a certain situation which is highly contested, and if you say things like that, you discourage people. So it's his language. Apart from the corruption, which I want him to, you know, because you see, it's not in anybody's interest for him to wait till Bawumia or Mahama comes to clear. He should start clearing it now. You see, so that's what we want him to succeed.
Okay, now that's an interesting perspective. The economy of the Republic of Ghana has had recent difficulties. To you, what's the fundamental problem?
The fundamental problem is that we are spending and not earning.
Really?
Yeah. We're not earning enough. We're spending a lot. You look at the street here, there are better cars here than in the UK, as far as...
we are rich people.
Yeah, we are rich people. That's how we spend our money. Meanwhile, you go to the schools and the schools are dilapidated. You know, it's not right. So it's our priorities. We're not getting our priorities right. For me, that is the key thing, you see. And this Ex-Sgt business is just... It's annoying.
Really?
It's very annoying.
You don't think that we should people services to the nation, be it in the executive, or be it in the judiciary, or be it in parliament, should warrant one receiving end of service benefits?
You see, they should be getting the same scheme that the ordinary worker gets. You see, the laborer.
But do they do the same work?
Oh, they don't do the same work. The fact that you don't do the same work does not mean that you are not as useful. You are not contributing as much. Because for me, that farmer who early in the morning takes the cutlass and goes through the morning dew with his son to the farm is contributing more than me sitting in an air-conditioned office, you see, they are contributing more. And if you are getting ex-gratia every 4 months, why should, and you see, some of these farmers don't even know that there's something called SNIT.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know that there's anything called SNIT. Some of these farmers, ordinary people, ordinary workers, they are not even aware. And the middle class, and by the way, it includes me,
okay,
are sharing this national cake and not letting them have any. And that really annoys me, that you have a class of people who retire on their salaries. They are the people who earn more and therefore can save more. They are the people who are able to get scholarship for their children. And these farmers cannot get it. They don't retire on their salaries. But you, the one who earns very, very high, you retire on your salary. Morally, it's bankrupt.
Really?
100%.
Is this the kind of Ghana you envisaged when you were active in the 70s and 80s?
Listen, if I thought this is how things would have panned out, maybe I would have been a multi-millionaire myself by now.
Really?
Yeah. But you
how?
see, well, I would have, concentrated on making money. But to be honest with you, that's a joke, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I am happy with the way I am. Yeah, I feel happier because you see, even though when I see the poverty around me, I do feel guilty, but I get consolation in the fact that I really did not do that to you.
As you didn't contribute to it?
The contribution is there, but I'm not directly responsible.
For the poverty people are involved in?
I tried. I nearly lost my life. You see, I nearly lost my life for it. My friends are in mass graves because of it. I myself would have been in a mass grave. At mile 11. My friends are there. My colleagues are there. Kwame Ajima is there. Awa is there. Because of this fight. That's all we wanted to do. So, I may feel guilty, but no regrets for my participation in all these activities. Try to do something. It didn't work out.
June 19, 1983.
Yeah.
You and your colleagues had an opportunity to reset what you thought was wrong with the PMDC, but it failed.
Yeah. Yeah, because you see, June 19th was carried out by people in prison and people from outside.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, when you are not able to meet to discuss things together and you are not in control of affairs, things do happen, and that's what happened. So it was executed wrongly, and orders were not followed, and basically that's why we failed.
If it had succeeded, do you envisage Ghana would have been a different country?
To be honest with you, when I was in prison, in the morning, when, and I'm being honest with you here, my thoughts about what I would say on the radio was to say we were organizing to hand over back to Liman.
Really?
Yeah. I'm being honest with you.
That after months or a little over a couple of years into the overthrow of Liman.
Yeah, if I had gotten to a radio station,
okay,
that is what I would have said. I would have said that we overthrew Liman because we were going to follow a certain agenda. It has turned out that it has been betrayed. Therefore, the decent thing to do was to hand over back to him. And that we are pleading for some time to hand back power, to organize handing back power back to him.
Are you an ideologue? Do you believe that when things don't go your way, you should necessarily disrupt the system? Because some accuse you, and the stock that insisted, if you are still going to go IMF or socialism is the way, then we are not going to be part of it.
You see, I'll tell you why I like socialism. Yeah. If you are poor, you have to organize your work and plan meticulously. If you are going to the market, you have to write down it on paper and follow it. That's the way you get by when you're a poor person. when you are getting a bit richer, you can be a bit relaxed about that. Now, we are in a crisis. We are poor. How can we allow our dollars to be spent anyhow, on anything, by anybody? The laissez-faire thing is not for countries like ours.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to plan everything meticulously. That's why we had a big boom in population without having planned for them. So you have a situation in which a lot of children are born, and there are no universities to take care of them. So what do you get? You get private universities mushroom and then start charging exorbitant fees. If it had been proper socialism, it would be planned. Maybe we'll say that everybody should have only one child or 1.5 or 2.
Oh, interesting. That's China, right?
Well, didn't it work for them?
Did it?
Well, you see, it worked for them. Look at where they are now. And now, a plan is not permanent, you know. You can always alter the plan. And that's what they are doing. They are saying that, look, we should have stopped the program a bit earlier. We didn't. So what we're now doing is we're allowing you, encouraging you. So that's the way it should be.
To make more babies.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. If Rawlings had dealt with just the family planning issue alone, it would have been a big legacy for him.
You mostly think that most of our woes can be attributed to the PNDC era. But we've had difficulties all along as a country, really.
Yeah, it's true. You see, the reason why I go back to the PNDC all the time is I just think that we had a big opportunity. You see, look, Kwame Nkrumah did not have people like me. He did not have people like Zaibo. He didn't have people like Kwesi Nyayayen, and all these other young, selfless cadres, you see. But by the time that Rawlings came, he had us, because Kwame Nkrumah's young pioneer, we had matured to the stage where we're now ready. All Kwame Nkrumah did with the young pioneer and so on, Rawlings came and inherited. And a very beautiful picture, he painted it red. Spoiled the whole thing. That is the reason why I always go back to that we had a chance. Kwame Nkrumah had been away only 15 years. You may not think about it, but it was only 15 years that Kwame Nkrumah had been away. And when Achampong came, he arrested the decline, the erosion of Kwame Nkrumah's plans for a period. So it meant that there was still a chance
to go back to it.
To go back to it, or to at least introduce some interventions. You see, look, workers' brigade, give everybody a job. Like Mama is talking about 24-hour economy, about the drive to get jobs. You see, it is an obsession to get the youth work, like Kwame Nkrumah was. So you have to have some plan. Work and happiness. You see, if you have dignity, you have everything. If you have a job, you get your dignity, and then you are happy, and the whole nation is healed together. When some people don't have jobs, it's a problem. They lose their dignity. They engage in all kinds of indignities, like selling their votes.
Is socialism relevant today in Ghana?
Oh yes.
Would it work?
Okay, you see, the problem is, it looks as if, and intellectually, I have tried and I've been knocked down, and I revere the people who knock me down,
That's okay.
I respect them, so I cannot argue with them. I have argued that, you see, it looks like there's something innately in us as human beings, because of our need to survive, the instinct to...
As in greed.
Greed.
Not greed, or greed, the quest to grab more.
To grab more. You see, you watch the baby and all kinds of things. It's like, so we need to have laws that's why socialism is difficult, because you are almost like swimming against some kind of natural
instinct
tide.
To be greedy.
Yes, to be greedy, which is the thing that would destroy us,
Okay.
Karl Marx said the thing that would destroy anything is inherent within it. And I think this greed is the one that will come and finish us all, because people are not thinking of their neighbors. Socialism, the rules will make sure that you do, because they'll ask you, where did you get your money? You will not even get the chance to put... Look, in the Soviet Union, the Politburo, who was the millionaire there? Cuba, who is the millionaire there? No. So from that perspective, it works. You see, you may get some Politburo members maybe send their children to schools, some important schools and things like that. But that's no big deal because they are good anyway. You see, so it's not like they were just useless and you know.
Or an entire capture of a system.
Yes, that is what is happening. So it's the greed that will finish it. And socialism will ask the question: how did you get your money? Why is it that you need 4 bedrooms in your house when you've got only one child?
No matter which direction the election 2024 goes, this year's election, the general election, do you think that Ghana will be saved?
We'll have to work hard at it.
The options are John Dramani Mahama versus Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia. Then, of course, I mean, other third parties bumping together. Do you think that it is seminal enough and whoever wins can turn around the fortunes of this country?
Look, I don't want to sound political, but if you ask me, I'm being, look, I don't give a damn. I'll tell you how I feel about it. Personally, I think Mahmoud Bawumia will have a very big task.
In winning the election or in running the country?
Even if he wins the decision, he cannot, basically, if you vote Bawumia, you're voting for continuity.
But he says that he will do certain things differently. You don't believe so?
No, it's not going to be possible. He can't say that he's a driver's meet or whatever. Listen, it's just not on. You see, if he had resigned, 6 months ago, and then he stood and won this thing, then he will be taken more seriously. I don't know whether he will win or not. But if he wins, he's going to have a problem. I don't see how he can move away from what is happening. He cannot just, it's not possible because the very people who are there now is Team Nana, that is Team Bawumia. So how is he going to, he's got a problem.
You don't think he has learned the lessons?
Well, he should say so clearly then he should tell us what he thinks of Cecilia Dapa.
Okay, interesting.
You know, if that will help, you see. But if you are not brave enough to tell us that you don't like some of the things that have happened, how can we be sure that you don't like them?
But I guess he has said some of the things he doesn't like. For example, he says you abolish the E-levy. He also talked about some of these taxes that he would remove.
Why didn't he resign, or why didn't he oppose them when they were
being introduced?
Okay. And that's one of the problems that I have with the PNDC. People, sorry,
but you resigned. You left.
I stood up to Rawlings.
Okay.
If my other colleagues, who were even more revered by Rawlings, had stood up to him, Rawlings would have not become the monster that he became. See, that is my belief.
That's what you believe in. Now, the other point, though, is what would it take to rescue Ghana? The economic difficulties that we have, the kind of politics that we do, the structural inequities in society. What would it take to rescue the nation?
You know, it's for the leader, the politicians, to tell the country the truth.
Really?
Yeah.
Truth is the ultimate one.
Yeah, the truth. And then you tell us where we are. Where we are in reality. And then you tell us, look, it's going to take time. And it's going to be a lot of pain. Come with me. And if you set an example yourself, people will follow you. So if, for example, you say, because of that, we are going to stop importing rice, and we are going to eat Ghana rice, and we see that you are eating Ghana rice, everybody in your household is eating Ghana rice, then we have a chance.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It starts with leadership.
It starts with the leadership.
Truthful leadership.
Yeah, true leadership, dedicated leadership, honest leadership, and a leader with vision.
It's an interesting development. Do you see that happening anytime soon?
Well, at the moment, it's difficult to listen, but to be honest with you, I kind of want to see what the 24-hour economy is about, because for me, the jobs, thing about the youth, the linkages effect of just having one industry going 24 hours, and you know, the linkages.
You seem to love that. Yeah. I mean, does it have anything to do with the fact that you spent a chunk of your life in the UK? So is it where you are getting the inspiration that this is a viable policy from?
Well, I've seen it, like you've said. We used to shop Monday to Friday. Then the Saturday came in the evening. Then Sunday, now this. And the convenience of it alone. And, you know, the number of shops that open and so on. You can see, yes. I did not immediately relate it to creation of jobs. I related it to convenience for the shopper. You see, but when you listen to it, you now can see
that more jobs are being created.
Exactly.
In the process.
You see, you take a filling station, for example. You see, and then you see if the filling station opens more hours, it means that toll supplying the fuel has to be supported.
That's true.
Then the filling station, the drivers, you know, it just the links just you know, you can just see the linkages. But you see, it will take a bold government to intervene. You see, because like I said, toll. If you are going to get toll to produce more oil to feed the filling stations, they will need money. You see, and you may have to borrow and give them. You see, but if you are not prepared to borrow and give them, because you think that they will say you are expanding the public sector and so on, then it's not going to work. So it's going to take a lot of strength and this thing. But I just can see the potential. I did some graphing of some of the things. You see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at home, just as a practice to see. And look, it's true that if you follow the links, and if only the government intervenes with toolkits that will give roadmaps to businesses as to how they can, you know, organize themselves for the 24-hour economy, give them dedicated banks, and you know, and so on. I just can see the potential. And do you know what? If I were the MPP or Nana, I would look at it, you know,
and start implementing now.
I tell you. Look, because
that sounds like an interesting idea.
Yeah, I'm telling you that I sat down at home, and I just took, you know, as a computer person, you draw boxes and you do fishbone analysis or whatever, and I did all that, and it's working. If only, you know, sometimes these things on paper they work, but when it comes to
the reality,
maybe corruption and other things may set in and spoil. But if it doesn't, and it really is allowed to go smoothly, and then I think it will work. So there's a vision there, which maybe will give something. The reason why I'm saying that is, I am not going to get the socialist government that I want in my lifetime.
You are not sure?
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen?
It's not going to happen.
You have given up completely?
Well, it's not that I've given up. I'm hoping that someone somewhere like Burkina Faso and Niger or Mali, they have an advantage now. They might implement it in my lifetime. But in Ghana here, it's not going to happen. Our dynamics is quite different, you know, and it's going to take a lot more, than maybe we thought in order to achieve it. The forces are just too strong against the socialists.
Are you not worried about the wind of, if you like, unconstitutional changes in government? You mentioned some of the Burkina, Niger, you mentioned Mali in the sub-region.
What do you mean by unconstitutional?
Because the removal of the leadership in those countries were not according
to
the
Constitution. But the leaders themselves, they don't act entirely according to the Constitution.
But there's
they
a
abuse the
procedure
Constitution.
For removing people.
They abuse the Constitution. So when you abuse the Constitution, and I also abuse the Constitution,
two
how come mine is worse?
Two wrongs
no,
I'm
not saying that two wrongs make it right. But why are you making one look worse than the other?
Don't you think it is bad enough?
It's bad enough for our brother in Ivory Coast to go for a third term. What did they do about it?
Okay.
I mean,
ECOWAS and their
what did they do about
their democracy and the protocols that they had in place.
What did they do about it?
But that's not justification for removal of anybody.
Well, it's not justification, but the other one too is not justified. You see, I am not saying
it
that...
It appears you are not making progress. Is that not a worry to you?
Well, sometimes you need crisis in order to get the progress, you see. So now we are debating this thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing because they will also be debating it. You see, so if there's a constitution and we are all following it, and someone does something untoward, then we all say, oh, you've done something untoward.
Okay.
But if you say you use the so-called democratic process, because you've got numbers in parliament, to say, oh, now you can go for 3 years for a third term, someone can overthrow you. Do you get it? Or we'll come to the street and make sure that it doesn't happen.
Suffice.
Yeah. So you will not then say that it is unconstitutional. What you're doing is unconstitutional. No.
What do you think your legacy will be?
I don't have one. I don't think I'm nobody. What do you mean? Legacy is for very important people who have achieved something. I haven't contributed. Look, I was in office in quotes for 10 months. You see, but I think the interesting thing is that even though I was just for 10 months, it's still interesting to see that people want to hear from me, having been there only 10 months, what happened, you know, at that time. So it's maybe what the interview that we're having now, the fact that I'm telling you honestly the way I feel, will encourage other politicians that it's okay to speak the truth about how they feel. So I have no legacy. The only thing is that it's possible to be yourself and still come out all right.
Sergeant Daniel Alolga Akata Pore, I am grateful for your time this day.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, folks, that's where we end today's edition of Upfront.